G'day everyone and welcome to Andrew's Art and Models. Today I am going to fulfill a viewer request. So I've had quite a few people message me about this, and it's to do a video to do with the Tamiya panel liner in particular, or pretty much any enamel based panel liner or wash, and the Bandai kits and the Bandai plastic. So I'm going to just do a little demonstration here, and you can see I'm marking out parts of an X-Wing kit. Now I decided to use this X-Wing because I've built quite a few of them, and I have seen firsthand the problems that you can achieve. So I'm just going to mark one side, and that's going to be the side that I do not use glue on whilst I'm assembling it, and then the other side I'm going to glue all the pieces down. So there's a few bits and pieces to this, but we're just going to start off with that. So the reason why I do that is because I find that even though it's a snap together kit, when you're putting enamel washes on, you're best to glue the pieces together, and I'll show you why in a little while. But for the moment, let's just go through it. So one of the main issues you will have is the wash will permeate any cracks or joins where you've joined parts together and get into those little nooks and crannies, and it starts to damage the plastic. So you can imagine that as a snap together kit, the plastic's actually under a fair bit of tension once you push all the parts together and hold it in. The enamel really gets in there and damages those areas, and that's what causes problems. So I've had bits fall off X-Wings, I've had fuselage crack, and I'm going to try and replicate those as best I can with this. I'm not going to paint the kit like I normally would. I'm just going to give it a heavy coat of wash, and we'll just see what happens. So you can see I'm using a fair bit of glue for the parts that I'm attaching. I just want to try and cover up all the little joint areas inside the kit. I'm not so much worried about the ones outside the kit, because no matter what you do with that and the glue, the wash is going to find its way in there anyway. You can use different cements, like there's Tamiya cement there, I'm using Revel, but it's totally up to you what you use. Now this is just one of the areas where I find the plastic's under a lot of tension, those little connectors in the fuselage there. And on at least two of these little kits, I've built quite a few of them now, but at least two of them I've had a little issue there. And it is easily avoidable, and we'll cover that a bit later, but I try my best to sort of replicate it in this video. So as you can see, I've glued all the parts for the port side, and on the starboard side I just attached them with using the snap tight connectors. Right, so here we have the panel wash liner from Tamiya. I love this product. You can use really any enamel paint that you're comfortable with. That's an example there, a tumbrel. Thin it with a bit of turpentine or odorless turpenoid and use that as your wash medium. That's pretty much what the Tamiya wash is. So if you want to make your own shades, colours, just get an enamel paint pot and do it. You will have the exact same effects and exact same issues as well with the plastic on these. It just reacts with the enamel. So let's coat it very heavily on this side and try and get some of the glue parts to lift. Then we're going to coat it heavily on the other side and see what happens there. Another thing, if you're just wondering what I'm doing here, I'm using just a bit of turpentine dipped on a cotton bud to clean up the surface. So I'll let the enamel permeate all the little areas and then dry up with the wash, and then dip the cotton tip with a bit of the enamel thinner or turpentine in this case, and just wipe it down and clean up the surface area like I would on any other painted model. Right, so it's had time to dry on this side. There's no movement so far, which is not what I was expecting. I was expecting something to happen, but Murphy's Law, of course, when you're doing a demonstration, it doesn't happen. But we'll keep going with it and see if anything changes. Time to do the fuselage. This is one that's happened to me a few times, and I've really desperately tried to get the model to do it, and of course it won't, but I'll explain it to you as well. Those little connectors, I've had the plastic crack around those, and the fuselage actually split right across. You can see just that little bit of pointed there that the enamels run right up the seam. That's what you want it to do, so that's what it's meant to do, but it's also going into the model. So it should or can affect the internals of the model as well, but it doesn't seem to this time around. Now, I didn't glue any of the fuselage pieces together, they're all just snap tight. We're just going to take off a piece or two here or there and just see how well the enamel actually penetrated into the snap tight areas. You can see there's 4 connectors on the rear end piece. If it hadn't made it to all 4, that piece probably would have come off, but it only made it to 2. but which surprised me, to be honest. But yeah, that's where you get your problem. So that's what causes your issue, is it just gets into those little connectors and ruins the join. Pretty much the same with this piece. It got to two of the three connectors, but left the main one standing. I actually apply some directly to it, trying to get it to do the little snappy thing, but it just will not work no matter what I try. But yeah, well, can't say we didn't give it a shot. So finally, you see here as I'm connecting it, a part comes loose. Finally, and that's what will typically happen when you use an enamel wash on these kits. You'll find the lasers fall off, the bits and pieces just come loose, and they start to fall apart on you, which can be a little bit heartbreaking. Really, the best methods I've found to avoid this is A, glue the pieces in. You can just see I'm pointing out there where it washes penetrated. Is A, glue the pieces in, and B, give the entire model a coat of a lacquer clear. For this, I tend to use a lacquer clear as opposed to an acrylic clear, and Tamiya does a nice lacquer clear, but there's plenty of other brands that do them as well. And a gloss clear coat is preferable to a matte, at least initially. You can give it a matte coat once you've done all your washes and everything if you find you need to. But that will really help seal up the model, and this is really how you paint it. So you can see I've got one here that I've been working on. It's been sitting on the shelf for a little while, and I will paint the wings separately, paint the fuselage separately, and then join it all together and glue it together. So, and there we go, that's the Tamiya clear that I typically use for that. So that I find works really well. Of course, if you use it outside, don't use it inside, it's quite noxious. But yeah, that's the best method I've come up with. It seals the kit nicely. So I've done the same thing on this one. This has had a Tamiya wash applied to it as well. And yeah, it sealed it all in nicely. I'm just trying to show you the lighter areas because it doesn't show up really well on the red. And we've got a few photos for you of some other ones that I've done using the same method. But yeah, so thanks for watching. Sorry I couldn't get it to replicate the problems that we've all been having. We know we're having. But hopefully you've seen why it happens, and we've learned a few ways we can avoid it. But if you have any questions, by all means, just shoot them down in the comment section below. Happy to answer anything I can. Thanks for watching, and please like and subscribe, and yeah, I'll keep the videos coming.